This video is about she was bullied and the millionaire gave her the keys to his office. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. In the heart of a bustling city, where dreams and ambitions collided, there lived a girl named Leila. With bright blue eyes that sparkled with curiosity, she often found solace in books. She was an introvert, quietly navigating the hallways of her high school, where the vibrant laughter of her peers often felt like an echo far from her own world. Leila had a vivid imagination, spending hours dreaming of becoming a successful writer, capturing stories that would inspire others. Yet her reality was far from her dreams. The whispers behind her back and the mocking laughter that trickled through the air like poison became a heavy weight on her heart. Her long, curly hair became a source of ridicule, and her penchant for wearing oversized sweaters turned her into the perfect target for bullies. "Look at the little bookworm, thinking she can be a novelist," one girl sneered, her friends snickering as they walked by Leila on her way to class. Each day felt like a battle. Leila was often left feeling invisible, a shadow among vibrant colors. Despite the hurt, there was a flicker of resilience in Leila. She was determined to rise above the taunts, to prove the world wrong. But it was difficult, especially when the loneliness tightened its grip around her. Some days, the weight of despair was unbearable, and the hope she clung to felt like a fragile thread. One evening, while working on her homework in a small, dimly lit cafe, Leila overheard two businessmen chatting animatedly at the table beside her. "Did you hear about Mr. Hawthorne? He is giving away scholarships to aspiring writers," one said, his voice laced with excitement. Her heart raced at the mention of Mr. Hawthorne. He was a renowned millionaire, a self-made man who had built an empire from scratch. More than that, he was known for his philanthropy, investing in the dreams of young people. Yet the thought of applying seemed daunting. What if she failed? As she gathered her things, she overheard them again. "If he likes your work, he even offers mentorship. It could change your life." The words lingered, wrapping around her like a cocoon. What if this was her chance? Fueled by a newfound determination, Leila spent the next few weeks pouring herself into her writing. She crafted stories that reflected her struggles and dreams, weaving hope into every word. Each sentence became her shield, a testament to her resilience. She submitted her work to Mr. Hawthorne's scholarship program, her heart pounding in her chest as she pressed send. Days turned into weeks, and just as doubt began to creep in, an email lit up her screen. She had been selected for an interview. The excitement surged through her, mixed with fear. What if she stumbled over her words? What if he saw right through her, judging her not just as a writer but as a person? The day of the interview arrived, and Leila stood in front of the towering Hawthorne Enterprises building, her heart racing. The sleek glass walls reflected the sky, and for a moment she felt small and insignificant. But she took a deep breath, reminding herself that dreams often required stepping out of comfort zones. Inside, the air was filled with a sense of purpose. Leila was guided through a labyrinth of offices until she reached a spacious room adorned with art and books, a sanctuary for creativity. There, sitting behind a large oak desk, was Mr. Hawthorne. He looked up from his papers, his presence commanding yet warm. "Hello, Leila. I've heard so much about your submission," he said, his smile genuine. "Let us talk about your writing." As they spoke, Leila poured her heart out, sharing her struggles with bullying and how writing had become her refuge. Mr. Hawthorne listened intently, his expression shifting from curiosity to admiration. "Your resilience is inspiring," he said, leaning forward. "Have you ever thought about how your experiences can empower others? Writing is not just about telling stories, it's about touching lives." His words ignited something within her. Could it be possible? She had always felt so small, but here was someone who saw her potential as a beacon of hope. Before she knew it, Leila was sharing her vision of writing a book that would help others who felt alone and misunderstood. When the conversation came to an end, Mr. Hawthorne surprised her by sliding a set of keys across the table. "These are the keys to my office. I want you to come here whenever you need to write or seek guidance." Leila's eyes widened in disbelief. "Are you serious?" "Absolutely. You have a voice, Leila, and I want to nurture that. You are not just a scholarship recipient, you are destined for greatness." Tears welled up in Leila's eyes, but this time, they were tears of joy. She had fought her battles, and now it felt like the universe was finally aligning in her favor. With the keys in her hand, she felt a surge of purpose. She wasn't just a victim anymore, she was a storyteller with a mission. Leaving the building, Leila looked up at the sky, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face. The challenges she had faced were still there, but now they felt lighter. She had found an ally in Mr. Hawthorne, a mentor who believed in her when she didn't fully believe in herself. Days turned into weeks, and Leela became a regular at Hawthorne Enterprises. With each visit, she transformed the cold, corporate office into a haven of creativity. She filled the space with drafts of her stories, revisions, and endless cups of coffee. Mr. Hawthorne was more than just a mentor, he became a friend. Their conversations stretched beyond writing, touching on dreams, failures, and the unpredictability of life. Leela found herself not just writing about hope, but embodying it. Yet shadows of her past still lingered. The bullies had not disappeared. Whispers continued to echo through the hallways of her school. But Leela had changed. She stood taller now, armed with courage and the support of a mentor who saw her worth. "Why do you let them get to you?" Mr. Hawthorne asked one afternoon as Leela recounted another encounter with her bullies. "It is hard not to when they read constantly in my face," she replied, frustration evident in her voice. "Remember," he said, "they read just reflections of their own insecurities. You have the power to rise above. Let your writing be your shield." His words resonated deeply within her. She began to channel her pain into her stories, creating characters who faced their fears and stood up against adversity. Her writing became a source of strength, not just for herself but for others who felt lost. As the months passed, Leela prepared for the release of her first book, a collection of stories based on her experiences. She envisioned it as a guide for those who felt alone and bullied, a reminder that they were not defined by others' perceptions. The day of the book launch arrived, and Leela stood before a crowd of friends, family, and fellow writers, her heart pounding. She had never imagined this moment would come, but here she was, ready to share her truth. With trembling hands, she held up her book, tears pooling in her eyes. "This isn't just my story, it is about every person who has ever felt like they didn't belong. We all have the strength to rise, to create, and to inspire." The applause that followed was thunderous, echoing her victory over the years of hurt. In that moment, all the struggle she had faced faded into the background. Leela had transformed her pain into purpose, and the keys to Mr. Hawthorne's office had become the keys to her freedom. As she looked out into the crowd, she felt the sense of belonging wash over her. The journey was far from over, but Leela knew she had the strength to navigate the path ahead. The beauty of the human spirit was not just in triumphs, but in the struggles that shaped it. And as she stepped off the stage, she realized that kindness, resilience, and a little belief could change everything. With the keys to her future in hand, Leela was ready to unlock every door of opportunity that lay ahead. As the applause echoed in her ears, Leela felt a rush of emotions that left her breathless. She had stood there, vulnerable yet powerful, sharing not just her story but the collective experiences of countless others. It was a moment she had once dreamed about but never truly believed she would achieve. "Leela, that was incredible." Sarah, her best friend, rushed to her side, her eyes sparkling with pride. "I can't believe you actually did it." Leela hugged Sarah tightly, her heart swelling. "I couldn't have done it without your support. You always believed in me." With the echoes of the crowd still in her mind, Leela stepped outside the venue, the cool evening breeze enveloping her. She took a deep breath, letting the weight of the world slip off her shoulders. The sun was setting, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. It felt like a perfect reflection of her journey, a blend of struggles and triumphs. "Hey, Leela," a familiar voice called out. She turned to see Mr. Hawthorne walking towards her, a proud smile on his face. "You were remarkable. I knew you had it in you." "Thank you, Mr. Hawthorne," she replied, her voice filled with gratitude. "You've been my guiding light. I wouldn't be here without you." He chuckled softly, shaking his head. "You did this all on your own, Leela. I merely opened a door. You stepped through it with courage." With the evening winding down, Leela felt a sense of satisfaction swell within her. She was no longer just the quiet girl who hid behind books. She was a voice for others. She was Leela, the writer, the storyteller, the girl who had learned to rise above. Days turned into weeks, and Leela's book began to gain traction. She received emails from readers across the country, sharing their own stories and how her words had touched their hearts. Each message served as a reminder of why she had started this journey in the first place, to show others they were not alone. However, the reality of her newfound success also brought unexpected challenges. Some of her classmates who had once bullied her started to take notice of her rising star status. They whispered behind her back, their taunts now laced with jealousy instead of laughter. "Look at her, acting all high and mighty just because she published a book," one girl sneered in the hallway as Leela walked past, her head held high. "Yeah, just a matter of time before she crashes and burns," another chimed in, and they all shared a laugh. Layla felt the sting of their words, but instead of retreating into her shell, she held her ground. She remembered Mr. Hawthorne's advice, let your writing be your shield. Determined not to let them dim her spirit, Layla turned to the one thing that had always given her solace, her writing. She began to work on a new project, a novel that delved deeper into the themes of resilience and self-acceptance. She poured her heart into every page, weaving in her experiences and reflecting on the struggles she had overcome. One afternoon, while working at her favorite cafe, Layla noticed a girl sitting alone at the corner table. She looked vaguely familiar, a student from her school, her head down as she typed furiously on her laptop. Layla could see the tears pooling in the corners of the girl's eyes. Without thinking, Layla gathered her courage and approached her. "Hey, are you okay?" she asked gently, taking a seat across from her. The girl looked up, startled but relieved. I don't know, I just feel so lost. I am being bullied too, and it is like nothing I do is good enough." Layla felt a pang of empathy. "I know how that feels. I've been there, but I promise you it gets better. You're not alone in this." The girl's eyes widened with surprise. "You really alone, right? The author?" "Yes," Layla said softly, "and I want you to know that your voice matters. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." "What did you do when you felt alone?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I wrote," Layla replied. "I wrote my feelings, my struggles, and it helped me find my strength. You can do the same." The girl smiled weakly, and Layla felt a kinship forming. "I wish I could be as brave as you." "You are brave," Layla reassured her. "Just by facing each day, you're showing more courage than they will ever understand." They sat together, sharing their experiences, and Layla encouraged her to express herself through writing. In that moment, Layla realized the impact of her journey. It wasn't just about her anymore. It was about creating a community of strength where voices could rise together. As the weeks rolled on, Layla continued to flourish both as a writer and a mentor. She started a small workshop for aspiring writers at her school, inviting students to come together and share their stories. Each session was filled with laughter, tears, and cathartic moments of vulnerability. "Remember," Layla said one afternoon, looking around the room filled with eager faces, "your words have the power to heal. You'll find strength not just in your own story, but in the stories of others." "Layla, do you ever get scared about sharing your work?" the shy boy asked, looking down at his hands. "Every single day," Layla admitted. "But I've learned that vulnerability is powerful. It connects us all, and that connection is what makes us stronger." Encouraged by her own workshop, Layla decided to host a community event, inviting everyone to share their stories, regardless of their backgrounds. She envisioned a space where people could celebrate the beauty of resilience. On the night of the event, the community center buzzed with excitement. The walls were adorned with artwork and pages filled with words of encouragement. Layla stood in front of the crowd, her heart racing. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she said, her voice steady. "This is a celebration of our stories of struggle, hope, and resilience. Together, we can lift each other up." As people took turns sharing their experiences, Layla felt a warmth envelop the room. It was a tapestry of shared humanity, a collective acknowledgement of pain and healing. Layla listened intently as each voice resonated with her own, echoing the battles they had faced and the strength they had discovered. After the event, people approached her with tears in their eyes, expressing gratitude for creating a space where they felt seen and heard. Layla realized that she had not only found her purpose in storytelling but had ignited a spark within others to embrace their narratives. But in the midst of this newfound success, her old insecurities sometimes crept back in. One night, sitting at her desk surrounded by drafts of her new novel, Layla found herself staring at a blank page. Doubt whispered in her ear. "What if you're not good enough? What if they come back to hurt you?" Mr. Hawthorne's words echoed in her mind. "Remember, Layla, you are the master of your own narrative. Let your struggles fuel your creativity." With renewed determination, she picked up her pen and began to write. Each word flowed like a river, carrying away her fears and doubts. She poured her heart into her characters, giving them the strength she had found within herself. As she shared her drafts with her workshop group, she watched their faces light up with excitement. They offered constructive feedback, encouragement, and most importantly, they celebrated each other as unique voices. One evening, after a particularly enlightening session, Sarah turned to Layla, her eyes sparkling. You're really like a lighthouse for all of us. You guide us through the storms." Layla smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "And each of you is a beacon of light in your own right. Together, we can create a brighter future." Months passed, and the bond between Layla and her writing community deepened. They became more than just a group, they were a family. Each member contributed to the collective strength that inspired them to persevere. Finally, after much hard work and dedication, Leela finished her new novel. It was not just a book, it was a testament to the journey of healing, resilience, and the beauty of the human spirit. She felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment as she held the final copy in her hands. At the launch event, Leela stood before the crowd once again, this time more confident than ever. Thank you for believing in this dream. This book is about all of us, the struggles we face, the strength we find, and the love that binds us together. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she looked out at the faces of those who had supported her. The whispers of her past no longer haunted her, instead, they transformed into a symphony of voices united in hope and kindness. As the evening came to a close, Leela felt the weight of her journey transform into something beautiful. She had faced her fears, conquered her insecurities, and emerged not just as a writer, but as a leader of change. In the heart of that bustling city, where dreams and ambitions collided, Leela had found her voice. And she understood now that the true power of storytelling lay in its ability to connect, heal, and inspire. Through her writing, she had unlocked not just stories for herself, but in the heart of a bustling city, where dreams often collide with harsh realities, Leela stood at the threshold of a new chapter. The words of her newly published novel, Through the Storm, echoed in her mind as she prepared to give a talk at a local high school. She had been invited back to her alma mater, a place where she once felt invisible, to inspire future writers. As she walked through the familiar hallways, memories flooded back, snippets of laughter, whisperers, and the sting of hurtful words from her past. Yet now, those memories felt more like a distant echo than a painful reminder. With each step, Leela felt the warmth of her journey surrounding her, cushioning her spirit against the shadows of her past. 2 students lingered by the lockers, their faces surprised as they recognized her. "Hey, aren't you Leela, the author?" One girl asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Yes, that is me," Leela smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "I am here to talk about writing and resilience." "Wow, I used to see you in the library," the boy chimed in. "You were always with your nose in a book." "Yeah, I remember feeling like I was invisible," Leela admitted. "But I learned that our stories can give us strength and connect us to others. That is what I want to share today." As she entered the auditorium, Leela's heart raced. A sea of expectant faces greeted her, and she took a deep breath. Standing on that stage, she felt like the girl she once was, the girl who dreamed of being a writer while battling self-doubt and bullying. "Hello everyone," she began, her voice steady. "I want to talk to you about the power of stories, how they can heal, inspire, and transform lives." The students listened intently, their eyes shining with curiosity. Leela shared her journey, the struggles with bullying, and the power of finding her voice through writing. As she spoke, she noticed a girl in the front row, her face a mix of admiration and yearning. After the talk, Leela made her way to the girl. "I saw you nodding along to what I was saying. What is your name?" "I am Mia," the girl replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Your story really touched me. I've been bullied too. I want to write, but I don't think I am good enough." "Trust me, Mia, I've been there," Leela said gently. "But writing is about expressing yourself, not being perfect. You have a story that deserves to be told." Mia's eyes lit up with hope. "You really think so?" "I know so," Leela affirmed. "Let us start a writing group. We can support each other and share our stories." Mia's smile illuminated her face, and the 2 girls exchanged contact information, their bond forming over shared experiences of pain and resilience. Leela left the high school feeling invigorated, a renewed sense of purpose filling her heart. Back at Hawthorne Enterprises, Mr. Hawthorne welcomed her with open arms. "How was your visit back to school?" he asked, genuine interest sparkling in his eyes. "It was incredible. I met a girl named Mia, who reminded me of myself," Leela replied, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. "I want to start a writing group for students. I want to empower them to share their stories, just like I did." Mr. Hawthorne leaned back in his chair, a proud smile gracing his face. "That sounds like a fantastic idea, Leela. You are not just writing stories, you are creating a movement." "I hope so," Leela said, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I just want to help others find their voice." Days turned into weeks as Leela organized the writing group. She reached out to fellow students at the high school, posting flyers and using social media to spread the word. The first meeting felt like a leap into the unknown, but Leela's excitement overshadowed her nerves. On a chilly Friday afternoon, a small group gathered in a cozy corner of the cafe where Leela had first found solace. She recognized Mia, sitting with bright eyes filled with anticipation. Welcome, everyone. Leela began, her voice warm and inviting. I am so glad you are all here. This is a safe space where we can share our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs. As they introduced themselves, Leela listened intently, her heart swelling with pride. Each story was unique, yet they all carried an underlying theme of resilience. She could feel the weight of their experiences, but also the spark of hope beginning to flicker. Writing helps me escape, one boy admitted, his voice shaky. But sometimes I just don't know what to say. Or where to start, another girl chimed in. I want to write about my experiences, but I am scared. Leela felt a surge of empathy. I understand, she said softly. It is okay to feel scared, but remember that vulnerability is powerful, your voice matters, and your stories can inspire others. Mia raised her hand, her enthusiasm infectious. Can we do writing prompts? I think that might help. Great idea. Leela agreed, her heart racing with excitement. They spent the next hour exploring different themes, writing freely without judgment. Leela encouraged them to embrace their creativity and authenticity, reminding them that there were no wrong answers. As the meeting came to a close, Leela felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. I am so proud of each of you for sharing today. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. We are here to support one another, and I can't wait to hear more of your stories. Over the following weeks, the group grew, drawing students from different backgrounds and experiences. They met regularly, exchanging feedback and encouragement, creating an environment where each voice was valued. Leela felt a deep sense of connection with them, as if they were all part of a larger family, united by their shared journey. However, challenges arose. A few students who had previously bullied Leela started to take notice. They would pass by the cafe, smirking at the sight of the writing group. Each whisper was a reminder of her past, and Leela struggled to remain unaffected. One afternoon, as the group was deep in writing, the door swung open and a familiar face stepped inside. Leela's heart sank as she recognized one of her former bullies, Sarah, walking in with a group of friends. What are you losers doing? She sneered, her voice dripping with contempt. Leela felt the tension in the room rise as her heart raced. She could feel the vulnerability of her group, but she also felt the fire of resilience ignite within her. We were sharing our stories, Leela replied, her voice steady. What are you doing here? Just checking out the wannabes, Sarah shot back, her laughter echoing. Before Leela could respond, May stood up, her voice trembling but determined. We were using our voices to lift each other up, something you wouldn't understand. The group fell silent, eyes wide with admiration for Mia's bravery, while Sarah's expression shifted to one of surprise. Whatever, she scoffed, turning to leave. But Leela felt something shift. This was a moment of empowerment. Thank you for standing up, Mia, Leela said, her heart swelling with pride. What we were doing here is powerful, and we won't let anyone dim our light. As the group continued their writing, a wave of inspiration washed over them. Leela encouraged each member to write about their experiences, transforming pain into purpose. They shared drafts, revised each other's work, and celebrated every small victory. One evening, Leela sat down with her own writing, reflecting on her journey. A journey that had once felt overwhelming now seemed like a tapestry of lessons woven together by resilience and strength. She poured herself into her work, crafting stories that mirrored her group's experiences, infusing them with hope. As the final meeting of the semester approached, Leela decided to host a showcase of their work. Let us invite friends and family to celebrate all that we've accomplished, she suggested, feeling the excitement ripple through the group. The night of the showcase arrived, and the cafe buzzed with energy. Friends, family, and teachers filled the room, eager to hear the stories crafted by the young writers. Leela stood at the front, her heart pounding with anticipation. Welcome, everyone, she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. Tonight, we celebrate not just our stories, but our strength in sharing them. Each voice matters, and I am so proud of what this group has accomplished. Mia was the first to share, her voice trembling but strong as she read her piece about overcoming bullying and finding her identity through writing. The audience listened in rapt attention, and Leela could see the pride growing in Mia's eyes as she finished her reading to a round of applause. Next, one by one, each student stepped forward, sharing their stories, tales of heartbreak, love, resilience, and triumph. Leela's heart swelled as she saw the transformation in each of them. The vulnerability they had once feared now became their greatest strength. As the night came to a close, Leela felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She stepped forward, her heart brimming with emotion. Thank you all for being here tonight. These stories are not just ours, they belong to every. As the applause faded, Leela stood at the front of the cafe, the warmth of the crowd as support wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. Her heart raced with pride, knowing how far she and her writing group had come. Each face in the audience was a testament to the power of vulnerability, storytelling, and resilience. "Wow, you all were incredible," Leela said, her voice brimming with excitement. "I am so proud of each of you for sharing your stories tonight. Your words have the power to change lives, not just your own, but the lives of others who are facing similar struggles." We approached Leela, her eyes shining with gratitude. "I can't believe I did that. I was so nervous, but when I saw everyone listening, I felt free." "You were amazing, Mia," Leela replied, pulling her into a warm hug. "You stood up there and spoke from your heart. That is what matters most. You inspired everyone in this room." As the night continued, Leela took a moment to step outside for some fresh air. The cool breeze felt invigorating against her skin, a stark contrast to the warmth of the cafe. She gazed up at the stars twinkling in the night sky, her heart filled with hope, gratitude, and a hint of disbelief at how far she had come. Yet even as joy enveloped her, a flicker of doubt crept in. "What if this is as far as I go?" she thought, the whispers from her past echoing in her mind, like a shadow that refused to leave. "What if they rewrite? What if I am just pretending to be someone I am not?" Just then, Mr. Hawthorne emerged from the cafe, his presence a grounding force. "Hey, Leela, I was looking for you," he said, a proud smile illuminating his face. "The showcase was phenomenal. You've created something truly special here." "Thank you, Mr. Hawthorne," she replied, her voice softening. "I just hope it is enough. Sometimes I worry that I am still that girl who got bullied, that I am not really making a difference." "Leela," he said firmly, "you need to realize that every time you share your story, you are empowering others to do the same. You are not just a writer, you are a beacon of hope. Don't let the shadows of your past cloud your vision of who you are today." His words washed over her, reassuring and invigorating. "You are right. I can't let fear dictate my journey," she said, a resolve strengthening. "Thank you for believing in me." "Always," he replied with a warmth that felt like sunlight breaking through the clouds. "Now, let us get back in there and celebrate." As they returned to the cafe, laughter and conversation filled the air. Leela felt a sense of belonging that was deeper than she had ever known. These were her people, her tribe, bound by stories and the shared experience of resilience. But as the weeks unfolded, the challenges didn't cease. The whispers from those who once bullied her began to morph into something more insidious. A couple of students, emboldened by jealousy, made it their mission to undermine her success. Look at Leela, thinking she is all that just because she published a book. One girl laughed, loud enough for Leela to hear as she walked past with Mia. "Yeah, what a joke," another added, their laughter ringing like knives in the air. Leela paused, feeling the sting of their words. She turned to Mia, who had noticed the exchange. "Are you okay?" Mia asked, concern etched on her face. "I will be," Leela replied, forcing a smile. "It is just hard sometimes. You know, even after all this time, it still gets to me." Mia nodded, her eyes full of understanding. "But look how far you've come. You are not that girl anymore. You are a voice for so many others." "You are right," Leela said, steeling herself. "I can't let them win. I need to keep pushing forward." Emboldened by the support of her friends, Leela channeled her heart into her writing. She poured her emotions onto the page, crafting stories that spoke of resilience, hope, and the beauty of overcoming adversity. Each character she created became a reflection of her journey, a testament to the strength she was cultivating. In the days that followed, Leela decided to organize a community outreach program inviting local schools to participate in writing workshops. She envisioned a space where students could explore their creativity, share their stories, and find solace in their words. "Do you think we can really pull this off?" Mia asked one afternoon, excitement dancing in her eyes as they met to discuss the plans. "Absolutely, we have to believe in the power of our stories," Leela said, determination etched on her face. "Let us reach out to the schools and create something impactful." With the enthusiasm of their writing group behind them, they began contacting local schools, sharing their vision of a writing outreach program. Soon, they had secured a venue and a date, and excitement filled the air. The day of the workshop arrived, and Leela felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. As she looked around the bustling room filled with eager students, she was struck by the realization of her impact. Her heart swelled with purpose as she welcomed the group. "Welcome, everyone. I am so glad you are here," Leela began, her voice steady. "Today, we are going to explore the power of our stories. Each of you has a unique voice that deserves to be heard." As the workshop unfolded, Leela watched as students began to open up, sharing their experiences and struggles. The room buzzed with laughter, tears, and moments of profound connection. "Writing is like breathing for me," one boy admitted, his voice shaking. "It's the only place I can be myself without judgment." "That's exactly it," Leela replied. Her heart ached for him. "Your words have the power to heal, not just for you but for others who might feel the same way. You're not alone." Throughout the day, Leela saw the spark of creativity ignite in each student's eyes. It was a beautiful reminder of the strength that could be found in vulnerability. But as the workshop came to an end, Leela noticed a group of students lingering at the back, their expressions clouded with uncertainty. They were among the same students who had bullied her, now faced with the reality of their actions. "Can we talk to you?" one girl asked, her voice hesitant as she stepped forward. Leela took a deep breath. "Of course, what's on your mind?" "We didn't mean to hurt you before," she stammered, her eyes filled with regret. "We were just scared. We see how much you've accomplished, and it made us feel small." Leela's heart softened. "I understand the feeling, I've been there too, but hurting others doesn't change our own insecurities, it only adds to the pain. We can choose to lift each other up instead." The girl nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. "I am really sorry. I wish I could take it back." "Apologies matter," Leela replied gently. "But actions speak louder than words. Let us work together on that. If you're interested, there is always room for more voices in our writing group." A wave of relief washed over the girl's face. "I do like that," she whispered, and Leela felt a sense of hope blooming. As the weeks passed, the writing outreach program flourished, transforming lives not just those of the students who attended, but also Leela's. Each shared story served as a reminder of the power of empathy and connection, unraveling the layers of pain and cultivating understanding. On a warm Saturday afternoon, Leela stood in front of a crowd at a local bookstore, ready to share her journey once again. The release of her second book, Voices of Resilience, felt like a celebration of everything they had built together. "Thank you all for being here," Leela began, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "This book is a combination of not just my journey, but the journeys of so many others who have inspired me. Each story is a reminder that we are not alone, and together we can rise above." As she shared her words, she saw the faces in the crowd light up, many of whom had been part of the writing group. The feeling of unity and strength was palpable, a beautiful reminder of how far they had all come. After the event, many approached Leela, thanking her for her words. One girl, who had once been a silent spectator in the writing group, spoke up. "You've taught me that it is okay to be vulnerable. I didn't believe in myself before, but you've shown me I have a voice worth sharing." Tears welled in Leela's eyes. "You've always had a voice. Sometimes it just takes a little encouragement to find it." As she stood amidst the crowd, Leela realized that her journey had come full circle. She had transformed her pain into purpose and found her voice not just as a writer but as a leader, a mentor, and a source of hope for others. That night, as Leela lay in bed, she felt a profound sense of peace. The struggles, the doubts, and the challenges had all contributed to the tapestry of her life. She had learned that,